Alright, we're back with Katawa Shoujo. Let's go into this mess, whatever this is. A pair of hands from behind cover my eyes, followed by a sharp burst of laughter. Hi, Chan. Guess who? I don't. Misha asked the question completely without sarcasm, meaning that she doesn't think that I instantly knew it was her for many obvious reasons. I wonder who it could be. Well, it's definitely not Misha. Haha, it is. Oh. Misha swings around to stand in front of me beside Suzune. Hey Chan, are you busy right now? I'm busy going to my room, yeah. See you two tomorrow. Uh, Whoa, okay, I tried to make a break for it, but Suzune is too agile to get past. As someone who used to play soccer, this is embarrassing. Not to mention that this behavior is drawing some odd looks. I should just quit while I'm ahead. Hey Chan, could you please go upstairs and get a few things for us from the art room? Why me? Ha ha ha! Chi-chan thinks that if the art teacher sees us, he'll say hi, and she doesn't like him. Ignore him. She tried, but even though Chi-chan is deaf, he'll try to say hi anyway. Run away? I never run. A tone of finality so strong that I can pick it up even through Misha. I can see there's no use pursuing this further with Shizune. Misha, why can't you get them? Stairs make me dizzy, Chad. Shizune nods as if to confirm it. Please, Chad, we need these things to build stalls for the festival, and you said you would help out a little, right? Right. I really shouldn't, but I guess just this once would be alright. Okay. That's great, Chad, thank you. This is what we need. She holds out a piece of paper for me to take. I'm sure this was a list made by Shizune. It's handwritten, but each letter is perfectly formed in uniform, as if it were typed. Not just that, but it's exhaustively detailed, complete with numbers, bullet points, and even little checkbox. What it boils down to is that she wants paint brushes, poster board, and an easel. Just different types and specific numbers of each. I wonder how I'm going to carry all of this stuff down the stairs without breaking my neck. The classroom closest to ours are designated belonging to class 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side, and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were used for classes. I guess our room is not a classroom as such. Carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? And desks and chairs are all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from a big window, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are standing in stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call out into the empty room. Anybody speeches, something catches my eye, and I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly in the end. The odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me back even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of this furnishing, or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in the headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering that I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think of if I should. The weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated over by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here, for the festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't, that's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raised her eyebrows as if she was expecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant. I guess it does, but who are you? The girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai, Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kinda bothers me about joking about these matters. Doesn't feel appropriate at all. Well, I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is. She seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead? Yeah, go right ahead. But, lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for meal you eat after lunch, but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too. But I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. That's not pointing at us, but, so Nagai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting a word out. I can guess. I am good at guessing, better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer a question or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of the issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be with an overly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of darkness, or a dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your gut would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. The messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact is what it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Rin's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem, arrhythmia. I said it. Well, like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glows at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. Just, I collect people and a person with you, you know. What? I collect people and a person with you, you know. The kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people? People with different problems. Huh, so you just, like, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. little left to say. Rin resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away. But I keep thinking about what we said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm SL and I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl is just a natural interest in such things. As I walk into the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, the chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty, except for her murky green eyes which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can't see how this sight would discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone, or in this light? Or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe. You're my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. That's all I can say, or think to say. But the list falls silent again as Ren forks the last bit of her meal onto her mouth. I look down at my haul and double check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're gonna do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch squirrels sleep. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Red looks serious. Even if I did, I think I'd have to be going. No, I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at a point good enough to warrant that much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine, then I'm Miss Al. Then you are. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinked a couple of times and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Sal. There's something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room as I shut the door in front of my face. I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that... what did she hear? I jumped at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gone to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside. She soon standing slightly behind Misha, looked aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meeting today. She tries to curiously peek past me even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? It took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Chad. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you're a tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things here. Was just gonna bring them. I think you're up to some mischief, Chad. Who is in there with you? I wonder. Misha signs something quickly to Zun, pointing out her own ear a couple times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling on her shoulders from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning his hand furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me, too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door and takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. Miss Tezuka, what do you think you're doing? You're absolutely not permitted to use school property for such a disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself, too. And? Well, think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't. Not even after translation. She just shakes her head and takes the materials from me and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student cancel duo. How rude. It's true though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I do. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what the project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she is sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. What do you need? Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway. Me and the paint can following. What? Me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to the another because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from retiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching. Or maybe I'm walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, Trouble appears in the form of a head nurse and his vox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Suzuka too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he has some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nodded Wayne passively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications, since you hadn't been that long on your current medication. There might be some unexpected side effects which might require adjusting dosages, or even changing to another kind of medication. So we'll do a few tests regularly, but what I'd want you is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. And come see me if something happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can on the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that, and it's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been neither at the school track nor even this pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You had people spying on me? Not as such, I just happen to know a few people. But that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised light weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up another can up and down a few times like some sand imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Suzuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is the habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, doctor. Nurse, I don't know what we should do.